close of every Shabbat service, we say a blessing over the congregation. The words are familiar to us. Yivarecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav alecha ve'yichunecha. Yisa Adonai panav alecha ve'yasem lecha. Shalom. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift his countenance upon you and grant you his peace. These words are from the book of Numbers in chapter 6, verses 24 through 26. They are often said during the Friday evening services in Torah-observant homes, said by the father over the family, and also at the close of Shabbat services and normal services in the synagogue. What is the meaning of all this? Why do we recite these blessings over each other? Why do we do what we do? In the book of Numbers, this is the blessing that Hashem commanded Moses to tell Aaron to speak over the children of Israel. Verses 22 and 23 of Numbers, chapter 6, tell us, Hashem spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron and his sons, saying, So shall you bless the children of Israel, saying to them. This section in Numbers chapter 6 concludes with verse 27. So shall they put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. The short answer to why we recite this blessing is because Hashem said so. Moses was commanded to instruct the priests that they should have the duty and the privilege to bless Israel, both in the tabernacle and later in the temple, and currently in the synagogue. This does not mean the priests have any independent power to give or withhold blessings. Only Hashem can grant people success, abundance, and happiness. But in that part of the service, the priests were to be the instrument through which Hashem pronounced his blessing on his people. Notice that the priests were not allowed to use their own words when blessing Hashem's people. This indicates that the blessing was coming from Hashem himself. Judaism teaches that the commandment to the priests is not only to say the blessing to their generation, but the priests of all generations are commanded to pronounce the blessing upon their generation for all time. Traditionally, when the priests recite the blessing, they raise their hands and form the Hebrew letter Shin with each hand. Some traditions put the hands together, others separated. There are several reasons for raising the hands. One is loosely based on Psalm 134:2, which says, Lift up your hands to the holy place and bless the Lord. The Hebrew letter Shin is the first letter in the Hebrew name for Hashem, Shaddai. In modern Judaism, Shaddai is also thought to be an acronym for the Hebrew phrase, Shomer Datot Yisrael, guardian of the doors of Israel. We find this abbreviated on most mezuzot, Shin, Dalet, Yod. When we tie tefillin, this same Shin, Dalet, Yod for Shaddai is formed with the way we tie the tefillin. We must also remember that in those days, a person's name meant something. A child was named because of a character trait that was already visible in them, or because of something the parent wished for the child. A name was something special. It defined who you were. Have you ever heard the phrase, go make a name for yourself? When the priests were commanded to put the name of Hashem on the people, it was a tremendous blessing. To have Hashem's name on you meant that you were his special child. You were being covered, branded even, as his, and under his protection. By placing his name on us, we were taking on an identity as his people. It also doesn't hurt to know that the first letter in the Hebrew word shalom is Shin. When the priests were placing Hashem's name on his people, they were also placing his peace on his people. Some Kabbalists teach that there are 15 Hebrew words in the blessing. So we raise our hands because there are 14 joints on the hand, 3 on each finger, 2 on the thumb, representing 14 of the Hebrew words in the blessing. The final word shalom is represented by the palm of the hand, making 15. The blessing itself is interesting. The blessing consists of 3 blessings. Most commentaries take the first blessing as referring to material prosperity, the second blessing as referring to Torah knowledge and inspiration, and the last blessing as referring to Hashem's compassion above and beyond what one deserves, forgiveness of sin and giving of peace. How can we respond to all of this? All of this is well and good, but how does it relate to me, to you? Notice how the blessing is in singular form instead of plural, even though it's said over a group. This is because it is meant to have a personal application. Also, the blessing does not come with any conditions for us. It doesn't say, if the Israelites do this or that, then bless them. Hashem knows that we have all messed up. He knows we have a tough time with life. We don't deserve his blessing for us, yet he has commanded his priests to put a blessing on us that we didn't earn. And Hashem desires to give us that blessing in his great love. It's a blessing that puts his identity upon us, an identity of worthiness and delight, an identity of love and gladness, an identity of faithfulness and humility. What a blessing it is that the Master of the universe wants to bless us. From his blessing and shalom, we can become the people whom we were meant to be, and we can manage life as it presents itself to us, stand on it, and know why we do what we do.